All right, welcome to 2.6. We're going to finally put parentheses into our expressions. And a parentheses is one way to make a group. So let's see, we already know how to work parentheses. Right, you do what's inside parentheses first. So 3 plus 5 is 8. So then we have to do 8. That's the multiplication symbol. 8 times negative 9, one negative in the problem, negative 72. Do the rest of them. You have to do inside parentheses first. 3 plus 5 is 8. Then you do negative 9 times 8. Whenever you don't see an operation, that means you're multiplying. So negative 9 times 8, still negative 72. We're still doing in parentheses first. Negative 72 divided by 8. This time, the answer is negative 9. One negative in a problem. When you're multiplying or dividing, one negative in the answer. All right, for the other ones, x is negative 7. So we have negative 7 minus 2 times 6. So we have to do inside parentheses first. So negative 7 minus 2, same as negative 7 plus negative 2, negative 9. Negative 9 times 6, negative 54. Keep going. So 6 times negative 7 minus 2. Negative 7 minus 2, still same as negative 7 plus negative 2, negative 9. 6 times negative 9, negative 54 again. Last one, negative 54 divided by negative 7 minus 2, which is still negative 9. Negative 54 divided by negative 9 is positive 6. Notice these last ones were the previous ones backwards, right? This is working backwards. Okay, so what goes first? What goes first is parentheses. Well, why were parentheses invented? Because sometimes you want adding or subtracting to go first. And the only way to do that, since there's these rules that it goes last, is to put parentheses in the problem. That's how you make adding or subtracting not be last. So EG, by the way, means example given, if you haven't seen that in English class. And parentheses are one way to make a group. What are those things called? Those are called brackets. If you see them, exactly the same as parentheses. But there are other ways to make groups as well. Absolute value bars also make a group. Okay, and we're going to talk about all of those this year. So let's do both of these, right? Still have to multiply. So here you have to multiply first and get 35, and then do negative 4 plus 35, which is 31, right? The 31 extra positives. But what if I wanted to do the negative 4 plus 5 first? I would have to put parentheses around it. So negative 4 plus 5, now you could do the adding first because it's inside parentheses. 1 times 7 is 7. So the parentheses totally changed the problem. Do those two, compare them. Well, 3 squared is 9, so you do that first because there's no parentheses. Negative 8 plus 9, positive 1. Now this is in parentheses. And so negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. And negative 5 is our base. So since our base is a negative number, we need parentheses around it. Now these parentheses are sort of different than the ones above it because there's nothing to do inside there. Right? You're doing negative 5 squared because it's an exponent. And negative 5 squared is negative 5 times negative 5, which is positive 25. Two negatives in that make a positive. All right, so you can shorten all that, but that is all the rules of order of operations. Now, order of operations, right, is the order of adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And the order says you do those things that are in parentheses or groups first, then you do your exponents, then you multiply or divide, and adding or subtracting is last unless it's in parentheses. So let's do that. In parentheses first, negative 6 plus 8 is 2. So we're going to rewrite. So negative 5 times, that's the times symbol, times 2 cubed minus 2. We still have that. Well, 2 cubed is 8. And if you wanted to skip and make that 8 at that point, that's fine. Now we have multiplying and subtraction. You have to do this multiplying first. Negative 5 times 8, negative 40. Negative 40 minus 2, same as negative 40 plus negative 2, negative 42. Right? So it goes groups, then exponents, then multiply or divide, then add or subtract. All right, so there are some brackets. And the reason brackets exist is right there. You could have parentheses next to parentheses, which you can have. But some people don't think that looks nice, and so they put brackets instead. Not different. Yes, right? So we're still doing inside, right? There's nothing to do here. These parentheses are because we have a negative 7 there. And so we're going to do inside here first, 1 plus negative 7, negative 6. Now we have 10 times negative 6 squared. Now, today, when you have an exponent outside of brackets or parentheses, they get forgotten by students. Don't be that person. That's still there. So we have 10 times negative 6 squared, right? We've done our group, but we've got to do exponents. We cannot do 10 times negative 6 yet. We have to do negative 6 times negative 6, which is 36, and 10 times 36 is 360. All right, goes inside the parentheses, right? We call this groups, but we could call it inside parentheses as well. Okay, so we have 7 times negative 2, x is negative 3, and that whole thing squared. Now notice this time I didn't put brackets. I put parentheses next to parentheses. Either is correct. So inside here we have negative 2 plus negative 3, also known as negative 5. Now we have 7 times negative 5 squared. Exponents come before multiplying. So negative 5 squared is negative 5 times negative 5, 25. All right, so if we go to the store with 7 quarters, right, how much money we have? Well, 25 times 7, 5 times 7 is 35, 2 times 7 is 14, plus 3. We have $1.75, but in this case, 7 times 25 is 175. Right? 4 quarters make $1, 3 quarters make 75. So 7 make $1.75. So we have 4 times 8 minus negative 3 squared. So we have to do inside parentheses first. 8 minus negative 3, same as 8 plus 3, also known as 11. So we have 4 times 11 squared. We must do the exponent first. 11 times 11, right? You can do it the long way, sort of silly. You're supposed to memorize that that's 121. So then you do 4 times 121, which is 484. So here you have 5 plus 2 times negative 4, that whole thing squared. Now, when you're inside the parentheses, you still have to follow the rules. You cannot go left or right. So while we're inside these big, let's see, I'll even turn these into brackets because just to show you. While you're inside there, you have to do the rules. So the rules say multiply first. So you're going to do 5 plus negative 8, then square that answer. 5 plus negative 8. Now I'm going to change them back to parentheses. Is 5 plus negative 8 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is negative 3 times negative 3, positive 9. So now here you have negative 5 times 2 times negative 4 squared minus 29. That whole thing squared. Wow, what a mess. Okay, so let's tackle this. So in here we have 2 times negative 4 squared minus 29. So we got to do our exponent. So negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. The next thing you're going to do is 2 times 16, which is 32, right? So then we have 32 minus 29. And 32 minus 29 is 3. So you do it all inside there to get 3. Now I'm going to erase because I got not enough room. But that whole thing in there equaled 3. We still have the squared up there. We still have this negative 5 outside multiply because there's no operation here that must mean multiply. So what do we do next? Well, we have to do the 3 squared. So 3 squared is 9, and then negative 5 times 9 is negative 45. And if you got that without my help, that's a hard one, and you totally got this. Okay, now something that often 7th and 6th grade teachers skip over when they do order of operations is that the top and bottom of a fraction are in fact a group. This is a way to make a group. I could have written the problem you see there as -5 times 6 with parentheses around it, divided by, right, this fraction bar means divided by, 3 plus 7 in parentheses. Typically, we write problems like that in algebra class as a fraction. So we don't need these extra parentheses there. They are assumed to be there. The top and bottom of a fraction are always a group. So when you see this, you do everything on the top, -5 times 6. You do everything on the bottom, and you divide last, which is weird, right? You're dividing last, but that's because there's assumed to be parentheses around the top and bottom. So let's do 3 more of those. So you do -12 plus -2 first and get -14. Then you do 8 minus 1 and get 7. And then you do -14 divided by 7 and get -2 last. Same thing if x and y are in there. So we have 18 minus -2 over 4 divided by -2. All right, 18 minus -2 is the same as 18 plus 2, also known as 20. 4 divided by -2 is -2. And so 20 divided by -2 is -10. One more of those. All right, so that's -8 times y divided by -2. That's x, not times. -2 times x times y. So we can see the difference between x and y there. So -8 times 4 over -2 times -2 times 4. So we'll do all of the top. -8 times 4 is -32. -2 times -2, positive 4. 4 times 4 is 16. -32 divided by 16, right, is -2. 32 divided by 16 is 2, and there's one negative left in this problem. Now, you may have seen what's a shortcut to look at this problem? Is there a shortcut? Yes. If you have the same number in a multiplication problem of top and bottom in a fraction like that, you can just cross out the 4's. You can. You're allowed. So look what's left there. -8. -2 times -2 is 4, and you still get the same answer. You can cross out those 4's. That's always true. All right, we're at the practice. Do these problems without my help, and then check your work. -18 minus 12, same as adding -12. It's -30. -30 squared. 30 times 30. 900. And so -30 times -30, still positive 900. Right, -2 cubed. Ooh, this is the first one we've had of that. So -2 times -2 times -2. -2 times -2, positive 4. 4 times -2, -8, right? So this is 3 times -8. Right? There are 3 negatives in this problem. When there are 3 negatives in a multiplication problem, the answer is negative. Now there's one left. 3 times -8, -24. So 8 times -5 over -36 divided by negative 9. 8 times negative 5, negative 40. Negative 36 divided by negative 9, positive 4. Two negatives make a positive. Negative 40 divided by 4, negative 10. So negative 2, 3 times negative 8 minus negative 12. That whole thing squared. All right, so we have to, inside there, have to do the multiplying. 3 times negative 8, negative 24. We're going to add the opposite. So we're adding 12. Negative 24 plus 12, negative 12. All right, so we've done everything inside there. We still have this negative 2 we're multiplying. We still have this squared. It's really easy to forget that. Then you have multiplying an exponent. Exponent's got to go first. Negative 12 squared. Negative 12 times negative 12, 144. And the answer to this is negative 2 times 144, which is 288.